And I thought, why not do a little caricature? Hey, you know what? All these years of drawing and shading and all those sorts of things, I actually never knew what cross hatching was. So cross hatching is just going one way and then it's going the other way, just coming back across the other way there. So this looked so boring until you start to put a little bit of shade in. Like it's just a little play around, and you know, nothing really, nothing really spectacular. But what constantly surprises me, even with my own art, is just how you put just a few little features in, you know, and suddenly it starts to sort of take shape. Especially with shading, a lot of people don't like it when you start to, you know, add your highlights. I'll try and get it out in a minute. A lot of people don't like it when you smudge. I personally love smudging. Love it. Because watch this. So I'll put a little bit of shade in here. Don't have to be too nuts with it. What am I using here? Just an old work pencil, 2B. Just an old 2B is a great actually, by the way. Let's bring his forehead in a little, his top of his forehead a little bit. But look at that. That little bit of a scribble there. All I'm going to do is now, just to add a little bit more shade, just grab my finger. Been working, so my hands are dirty, but having said that, it's dirty work. So in here, I'll just add a little bit more shade to those, kind of make it look like he's raising that eyebrow up a little. So now we'll just come in here, just move that in. And just think yourself, when you, even with a realism piece, if you want something to sort of stand out, just think about the creases. The creases around a person's eyes or whatever are going to have a little bit more shadow than if you were to, let's just say I want to have that nice and light. So in here, I want to just go a little bit darker around the eyebrow, and that'll just push that section out a little bit more. So what else now? Okay, so let's just go into the, you don't have to be all, especially with a caricature, I love them because you don't have to worry about them being all correct. You can pretty much, you know, you want symmetry, but you don't really have to have everything perfect to play around with. And you can have square lines, you can have round lines, and it'll all just sort of add to the whole composition, so to speak. But even with a caricature, you kind of want to make sure that you've still got certain parts of the symmetry in place. So let's come in here a little bit. Let's just put a little bit of shading around the bottom of these ears. Let's come in here a little bit. Bring that over a little bit. And as you can see, it doesn't really have to be exactly right. But it can just, little doodles like this can be just a bit of fun when you're sitting around. I'm just having a quiet little beer at the moment, little beverage. And yeah, knocked off for the day. I thought, why not? Just do a little bit of a play around out of my imagination. But what I really wanted to say is, you know, when you're doing these 2D designs, it's really, so here's the cheeks. Now they're going to be light catching on anything. They're going to be light catching. Let's just say the light's coming down. So you kind of want to smooth them out a little bit. As you can see with the pencil there, holding it with, I'm drawing with my right hand and holding the phone with my left hand as we're going live. But now, let's now give that a little bit of shade in under there to sort of bring these this jawline out a little bit. And then we'll just smooth that out. Give them a little bit of interest under there. And for that beard, let's start to get that. Now we've already cross-hatched, so we've got our colours in. Now let's start to get rid of those particular lines. Cross-hatching is brilliant to be able to fill in an area quickly, but then you kind of just want to come back and. But as you can see, this is just building and building as you go along. I'll just rub that in, rub that in. Now, if I spent long enough on that, we want him to look a little bit matty. A couple of whiskers coming off here and there and pretty much everywhere. A little bit of flow. Bring that out a little bit. Oh, mate's got himself a nice little beard there. A little bit unkempt. Bring that in a little bit. Bit of highlight on the nose. And as you can see, it's amazing from this 2D, this flat 2D design that you can just, pretty much scribble out. You can actually start to fashion out a 3D image just by adding a few little highlights. As I said, just down the bottom of the hair, let's just make that a little darker. We'll bring that up a little bit further. And then I'll just jump in there with the old finger, smudge that a little bit, smudge in there. And it's just little things like this that if you're going to get into caricatures at all, I mean, I'm fascinated by caricatures. I'm not very good at it. But having said that, I still love them. Still love the look of them. So let's see if we can't give him. I reckon we might give him an earring, hey? Go that way. Bring that down. Get a bit of a pirate look. Bring that in. A bit of an Adam's apple there. A bit more shade. But as you can see, it's just, playing around. You can add these highlights when you think there's nothing to this drawing. It's so boring. But then you can just start to just play around with the edges, and it just starts to give you, if it works, if it doesn't, it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to really stress over them because they're just something you're going to throw away. But they're just a little bit of fun. A little bit of fun while you're kicking back and relaxing. Now, because that's the bottom of the cheek, even though it's a caricature, let's just give that some shade. Bring that in. And then I'll just sort of bring that out. Bring that out. You can get in the trap of playing around with it too much, which I'm probably doing, but like I said, it's just one of those things that you start to learn yourself. You just teach yourself. You think that looked good. No, that didn't look good. Excuse me. And you can just play around with these little caricatures. So, yeah, it's me. Hang on, who's that? Jamie. Yeah, mate, that's me. Pretty much down to a T. It's exactly how I look. So, give him there. He's looking pretty stressed, this dude. Had a bad day, the old mate. There we go. A little play around while I'm sitting there, just relaxing. And these are the kinds of things that just keeps art top of mind. And, well, I'm pretty rusty, but having said that, it's things like this that tend to get you back in the creative zone and getting those juices happening a little. So there you go, just a really quick little sketch there that I thought I'd do while I'm sitting here enjoying a little beverage. And I will, with that, bid you adieu. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch ya.